And we're live. Roll Tide, everybody. It's time for the Cover Crimson postgame show. We got a minute left in the game, and Alabama closing in on a spread covering home win over Wisconsin. I'm going to throw the score up here right now of 38-14 with 40 seconds left. So pretty good win for Alabama, and one of those games where the Crimson Tide obviously feeling good about things. We're going to play the open. We're going to take your calls. We're going to talk some Alabama football, and it's coming up now. All right, guys, see everybody in the comment section. I know some of you guys have the phone lines going. I'm going to play a snippet before I answer the phones just because I got to make sure that you guys can hear me. So tell me, could you hear that little bit of a song that I just played? You could? Okay. That means I can take your calls. And the final score is now up, and it's over in Bama with the win over Wisconsin. They put the F at the end of it. 38-14. What'd you guys think about the win? I'm going to tell you my thoughts. Then I'm going to go to the phone lines. First off, I thought that Bama had a good game plan. Thought they came out and played with intensity. I like the way that the offense attacked. I love the trick play that they ran. You know, if the kickoff return was set up by the guy running into the official on the sideline and the short kick. Besides that, Bama gave up 7 points. Bama 84th consecutive win against a non-ranked team at home. That was good. I like the intensity that the team brought. You know, it was obvious that Wisconsin wasn't at their best. They didn't have their starting quarterback. They didn't have their center, but that doesn't matter. You got to go out there and play your game. Bama's pass rush was there today. Ryan Williams played well. I know he had the drop. I thought Bray Hubbard had a great game today. And I think this is a good way to go into the off week and go to play the Georgia Bulldogs. I think this is exactly what Alabama wanted. So a 38-14 win. And, you know, you turn the big lead in the beginning of the first half, and then you kind of turn it off. And you just try to whittle the clock down. But home games haven't been the issue. It's been the away games. So, you know, a lot of that is going to be settled when Alabama heads to take on the Georgia Bulldogs in 2 weeks. But let's talk about this Bama-Wisconsin game. Thank you guys for being here. Like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. That means Roll Tide. We're brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Let's watch Coker and then take
I may not suit up on Saturdays anymore, but I'm still in the game.
Let's roll!
In here, I call the plays, make adjustments, and lay it on the line. Want to feel that fire, that rush? Then you've got to get in the game. I used to say it in the tunnel, and I still say it now. Let's roll.
Let's roll!
Let's roll. I'm going to take a call. Let me ask you guys this. All you guys in the comments section, I see you, Orlando. Roll Tide right back at you. Jake saying we can't run the ball. That was a good defense up front. That was kind of their thing. Thank you, man. Thank you. The Bama Tailgate Hawaiian shirt. Maybe you guys want to buy one of these. Maybe you can win one through D Community. Look, it wasn't a perfect game, but I'm going to play this. I'm going to play a snippet right now. I've got to test these phone lines because we had a trouble last week. Can see if you can hear this. Once I get this. Could you hear that? Somebody say yes. And if so, we'll go right to the phone lines. Like a little bit of a song there. Ty Simpson was sharp again. Look, the guy's really proven his worth. 24 of 29, 382 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He protects the ball, and that's awesome. And I'll tell you what, I criticized him after that Florida State game. Got out of the pocket. He didn't take advantage of it. Today he did. Some great runs, using his wheels, looking downfield. The offensive line, when they gave him time, he was deadly accurate. And the guy, I'm pulling for him because he stuck around fought for the job, won the job. I thought that first game he seemed a little too tentative, too all shocks. He's past that. That butt whooping that they took against Florida State opened his eyes, and I saw him leading today, and I loved that. On the sideline with the wide receivers. We got great wide receivers. Yeah. Hey, it's Rambo's right, man. 26 of 29 is NFL. I mean, if this guy keeps this up, he's going to be a guy that's drafted in the NFL. So I liked all those things. Let's get to the phone lines and talk to you guys and see what's going on out there. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, Nick, Stan from LA. How's it going, bro?
What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Or good to talk to you.
Good to hear from you too, Mick. Okay, I'll just do the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, Ty Simpson. Amazing. He was in lock. He's locked in. He's seen the field. He's making good decisions. The other good is Bryant Hubbard. That dude got the message. He's sending a message to all the naysayers out there. He's lanking the heck out of it right now.
Yeah.
And he's coming up and popping. He's coming up and popping, and he's seeing that he schooled that quarterback on that interception, and then he saved another touchdown drive with the other interception. So Bray, hats off to you, brother. You keep that intensity up, and you keep it going, because I think he's a catalyst and a leader back there. He's a quarterback in the backfield, and he's seeing it and he's bringing it. So A+ for you, Bray. The bad, that run game still sucks. The O-line has no push. And Wisconsin has a pretty good defensive line. I got to give them a little bit of that. But, hey, we're going to have a litmus test next week when it comes to that Georgia game. But, the ugly, drop balls, right? Lottie Brooks dropped it. Ryan Williams was dropping balls. They got to bring it in, man. That's touchdowns that are off the board, But other than that, hey, man, this is a good game. It's a good momentum builder. I think that we can go in this off week and get dialed in, because it's happening. It's happening. The next game is where it's at, and we get to see we can see what Georgia's got this game when they're playing Tennessee tonight. So we can watch and see what they're going to do with that, and learn from this game and going forth. But I think DeBoer's got his boys' heads in the right spaces, and I'm calling FSU a fluke. I think that we're gonna keep dialing in, and I have optimism now. Last week was absolutely a great practice run. This week was solid. Defense is a little bit better. We got some rush on them here and there, and that's without Keenan. So, I think when we get Keenan back and Latham, and we're going to be okay. I hope Overton's okay. I know he went out with an upper body injury. I don't know what it is, but we need him. We can't lose Overton. That would be really, really bad.
Yeah. Stan.
Other than that, I'll take it. It's a Roll Tide win, and I love it, man.
Yeah, me too, man. Well, Roll Tide, brother. Thanks for calling, and I'm gonna talk about some of the things you talked about, and please call in next time. But Roll Tide, and thank you for being here. And first off, I agree, man. Bray Hubbard brought it. You go for it on fourth down, you don't get it, and then that guy comes up with an interception, changes the momentum that fast. They're going for it on fourth down. That's just part of the way that this offense does it. They went for it on fourth at the goal line. They went for it on fourth and didn't get it. Bray Hubbard gets the interception. Wisconsin's moving the ball down the field. Hubbard steps into another one, an interception. There was a run play where they were trying to get the side. Here he comes out of nowhere and takes the guy out. Bray Hubbard had an excellent game, and he's an excellent football player. Plays the angles, plays the game the right way, plays it hard, and I loved it. I love the way that he played, and I thought that was right. I've talked about the drops, and I love Ryan Williams. Drop the touchdown. Latsir Brooks drop. You can't drop the ball. That's that. And Nick, I can remember Nick Saban saying, "You're a receiver. That means you receive the ball. You got to catch the ball, and then you got to do that." And it didn't hurt him today, but it could hurt him. And the good thing about Ty Simpson, think about it. You had some drop balls. And he still ended up, think if they caught the ball, he was 24, 29. You know, he didn't make many bad passes. You know, he had more drops than he had bad passes today. And he almost had a perfect game again. You know, the fourth down pass where they could have called pass interference, they didn't want to. You know, then obviously the Ryan Williams one, the Lazio Brooks one. But you know what? That's part of it. They also had big plays. Ryan Williams did the Ryan Williams things, the trickery, the creativeness. You know, how many times have we been on here and we talked about the offense not being creative? Think about some of those years with Bill O'Brien. Just the fact that you put that on video, you got to watch that now. If you're Georgia, if you're LSU, if you're Auburn, that we're going to run a double reverse pass back to the wide receiver and he's going to take it to the house. So I thought it was a great bounce back game for Hollywood, but it wasn't perfect. And, you know, and that's kind of what the expectations are at Alabama. It's to try to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect, but you try that. You try to get there every time. And I thought that last week's game was pretty close to it. And I thought this week's game was not perfect, but I thought it did a really good job. I was happy with that performance. Let me get this super chat, and then I'm going back to the phone lines again. Tide World Order, good to have you back, man. Go into the Georgia game with the mentality of being the heel. Embrace being the heel. I agree. You know, the NWO, not the TWO. You know, Hollywood, Hogan, and big sexy Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. Hey, yo. You know, you got to go in there knowing that these guys are going to kill you if you play like the Florida State game. If the effort's like the Florida State game, I heard my friend yesterday, Cruz Oxenrider, he's like, if Bama plays a bad game, these guys are going to try to kill us. They're going to try to put the worst loss on Alabama that we've ever seen. That's the mentality that they're going to have. Because Bama's beaten Georgia 9 out of 10. And people can say all they want to say about Georgia. And Georgia's beaten everybody else consistently. But Georgia's been worse than Tennessee, worse than Auburn. They've been just about as bad as any opponent Alabama's had when you look at the scores, when you look at the results. And they want to beat Alabama. And if you can't get up for that game, then you went to the wrong place. I think Bama's going to be up for that game, but I think you're right. They got to go in there and know, just like they used to, and kind of be the bad guy. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Maybe we'll get the Tennessee callers to call in before they get their ass whooped today. Who's this and where you calling from?
Oh man, Mick and Tice, man. That's a hell of a start right there.
Well,
let's see if Peanut calls in, huh?
You know, Ice. Remember they after the Florida State game, they called and played Rocky Top on me. You know, you don't hear from them when we win. And I'll tell you what, man, I'm going to give those guys some credit. I mean, I'm watching game day, and they're so loud on there when Coach DeBoer was being interviewed, doing the tomahawk chop and screaming, you know, Bama sucks. They have another chant that's F you, Bama, but they say the whole word when you're at their stadium. They talk a lot of smack. And, you know, that makes it fun. Look, I don't have any hard feelings, but when they go down 16 straight years, I'm going to enjoy my cigars. What'd you think about today's game, Ice?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, first of all, I love it with the Tennessee fans, though. It's fun banter, in my opinion. It really is. But the game today, let's get through what I saw that I didn't really like, and then we'll get into the rest of all the good stuff. You know, we got to get through the hard stuff first. You know, a lot of it was hit on, you know, the drop balls and all that. I got to start with Ty. That fourth down, that first fourth down we went to, like they pointed it out, like he missed a touchdown pass.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I don't want him doing that when the game's on the line. So let's not see that moving forward. I think Kevin Riley looked a lot better than what the stat reflects. But man, we really didn't have flashy stats in the rushing category. But I will say this, that like Kevin Riley is a stud. He is a dude. I like seeing him get the ball. I want to see more of it. Richard Young, I see why he's not out there. He got
he got mollywopped on the field. I don't know if you saw that when he had to pick up a block for pass pro, and that's just, and that might not be his forte. I'm sure he's better somewhere else. And as a running back, we can put him somewhere else, like in the offensive scheme, and that's fine. I don't want to see him get thrown on the ground like that again. And then the drop passes, that was we had a couple of those, but overall though, I won't complain too much if it's a rarity at this point. But let's not drop the ball. Come on, you got one job. You're getting paid now.
Yeah, right. That's true.
If it's going to drop the pass, then let's put Sherwood. How you say his name? Let's put the walk on in out there. I guarantee he won't drop it. So, all the good, man. Efficient. Efficiency is the word I got for that. They looked like they're doing everything just the right way and as perfect as possible and being effective. I did not think that we could get an entire offensive line to shift completely onto the other side of the field for a screen pass. Just for Ryan
was amazing.
Running in for a touchdown.
And no penalty flags.
That was awesome. No penalties. And guess what? Guess what Caden Proctor did? He put someone on their ass.
Yeah, he pancaked that guy.
He did. And hey, yeah, I know we love picking on the guy, but give him credit there, man. Holy cow. That's what we expect out of him. We know he can do that. I have high expectations for Caden Proctor because we know he is that guy. We just need to see it more. LT Overton, I guess if he's going to get kind of banged up, it couldn't have been a better week because we got the bye week. I am really hoping that he's not going to be too bad, but he looked like he was walking on his own and stuff. So maybe he'll be back before we have to walk into Georgia. Honestly, I'm going to choose to be confident in this team and say that we're going to go in there and we're going to give Georgia our best. I don't think that we're just going to, give the effort that we did in week one. Other than that, that's really all I got. I just want to say Roll Tide, good win, and let's enjoy the off week.
Awesome. Well, Ice baby, thank you, brother. Great to hear from you as always down in Florida. And Roll Tide, great call. Yeah, look, I feel like there's a lot to be happy about. I love you guys in the comment section too, man. Keep getting in the comments. Make sure you give us a subscribe. If you're not subscribed, give us a thumbs up, please. And we appreciate you being on here for the post-game show as we talk Bama and Wisconsin. And really not even a close game for the Crimson Tide. 38-14 was the final, as you guys know. So just kind of before I go back to the phone lines again, hitting the stats, even with the drops, Ty Simpson, 24-29, 382 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He threw a very sharp ball. It was on time, and the comfort level is there. He also ran 6 times for 25 yards, had that 19-yard scramble. Kevin Riley was Bama's leading rusher. Bama didn't do much in the rush game. I know you guys are talking about that. We're going to talk about that as well. 7 carries, 20 yards. Wasn't much of a push up front. Wisconsin, though, does have a very stout defensive line. That's kind of what they're known for. They came in with one of the best defenses in the country. So Bama threw on them. They didn't run on them. They tried to run, but the pass was there. The pass protection was there, I thought, for the most part today. Dre Washington, 2 carries, 13 yards. A.K. Deer, 2 carries, 9 yards. Richard Young, 4 carries, 3 yards. He got blown up on that one pass pro play last week. He blew a guy up on one of those, So that's part of it, man. Some of those linebackers coming in are pretty tough, stout dudes. Receiving, Hollywood, 2 touchdowns, 5 catches, 165 yards. Looked like a superstar, except the ball that he dropped in the end zone, which was right in his hands. Jeremy Bernard he finds ways to do it, man. He just finds ways to do it. Ran in a touchdown, caught a touchdown, 4 catches, 62 yards, a long of 43. He's been the rock on the offense for Alabama. Isaiah Horton, 5 of 48. Good to see him get his first touchdown. He was really good. Latsier Brooks, couple catches, 30 yards. Kevin Riley caught 3 passes. One of them was in triple coverage and caught it and ran into some trouble and held on to the ball, right? 28 yards. Josh Cuevas, the tight end, 3 catches, 22 yards. Washington and Edwards both had a catch each. Team stats wise, and I think this is what kind of some of you guys were alluding to, Bama had 454 total yards, only 72 rushing. You knew that this was the way that Alabama was going to look when they brought in Kalen DeBoer. He throws the ball. Ryan Grubb, arguably got fired last year from his NFL job with Seattle, even though the team went 10-6. And the reason why is they were like 30th in the league in rushing. They don't run the ball enough. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't care how many times they run the ball. I just want to have a win at the end of the game, right? You got to take what you can, what you get, but you can't give up on the run. Even if, you're not getting a whole lot from it, you still got to keep going, right? You still got to, keep going. And Bama only ran it 22 times today. So it was very lopsided, now, you know what? Maybe not so much. 30 passes, 22 runs. So, I mean, they try to keep it 50-50, but the pass was there. When you're throwing the ball on them like Alabama was, I mean, you can't stop, right? 382 and, and just kind of winging the ball around the yard. But defensively, I thought Alabama played well. They took advantage of the thing that I think they have to take advantage of with this team, and that's that they've got to attack offensively to keep the defense from having to basically stop the run every play. And I think their strength is in the secondary. When teams throw, they're going to make plays. We saw it today. They were ball hawking, and I felt like that was a big part of this as well. So the formula for them is going to be to get ahead. I'm worried about this team when they fall behind. All right, let's go back to the phone lines again and talk to you guys. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, Mick, it's Adam calling from Georgia. How's it going?
What's up, Adam? How you doing, man?
All right, I'm doing good. Thanks for taking my call. So just a few comments. I thought, Ty Simpson, again, for the second straight game, looked amazing. Our defense really looked solid today. My concern, though, is when we have balance on offense and have a legitimate running game, because we're going to be playing some tough teams, Georgia, LSU, Oklahoma. So my question for you is, do you think that we have the backs to establish, and the offensive line to establish a balanced running game? And what are your thoughts on the team at this point?
Yeah, let me bring Clint Lamb in. He's a good guy to answer that question, too. Clint, Adam from Georgia is on the phone right now, and he's wanting to know, do you think Bama has the offensive line and the running backs to be able to establish a solid run game? And good to see you.
Great to see you. Yeah, I mean, first of all, great win, but that is a concern, and it's understandable. I mean, there was just really no consistent push in the run game. That's been an issue for Alabama in the previous 2 games. Hopefully, Jam Miller's going to help with some of that, but I think it's more so a lack of push from the offensive line. I think when Michael Carroll came in, especially down there when Alabama was backed up against his own goal line, I thought that he performed pretty well, moved some guys, created some opportunities. But there's just no consistency right now with that. And, when you talk about what this Alabama offense is, the fact that they're having so much success over the last 2 weeks, despite the fact that they have had such a limited run game, that's something to me that is definitely noteworthy. But at some point, you're going to have somebody do some things to take away your passing game, and you've got to be able to run the football and make them pay as far as the numbers games and things like that. So, I think Jam Miller will help. I think as the offensive line gets more comfortable playing alongside one another, I'm sure things will continue to get a little bit better. But it is somewhat concerning. And there was at least a couple of points in the first half where I'm like, it kind of started to feel like Ryan Grubb was wanting to abandon the run, which if you were watching the game, you kind of understand it. But it's frustrating, and it's something that Alabama definitely needs to continue to work on, because as much good as there was today, that's something that at some point you're going to need that rushing attack. And, up to this point, Alabama has had zero consistency when it comes to that.
Good point. Adam, anything else for Clint while we got you on the phone?
No, I mean, thanks for the answer. I appreciate it. I think it's a great win, and right now I think we're in a good position, and hopefully we'll get the running game established. So thanks for taking my call, guys, and roll Tide.
Yeah, always great to hear from you, Adam. And I know Adam last year was a guy that was pretty critical of Jalen Milroe. Clint, I thought that Ty Simpson played almost as well as he did last week. If those guys catch the drops, he's just about perfect. He missed the throw. He missed the guy wide open on the 4th down play, right? But besides that, I mean, they dropped the ball a couple times. He threw one at the feet of the tight end, and that was it. Everything else was on the money.
I mean, just his efficiency, the timing in which he's playing with right now, great command of the offense, great understanding of where he's going to want to go with the football. That's something that I think, the last couple of years at times that's been lacking. And just when you talk about this Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb offense, this is what it's supposed to look like. It's dynamic. And what's wild is the amount of success that they're having through the air, despite the fact there's not a run game, which I just mentioned. I mean, that to me is just – I think he's doing a great job as far as distributing the football to different playmakers. You saw Jeremy Bernard a lot early. Ron Williams getting back on the field definitely proved, that he is still the same dynamic playmaker that he has always been. But Ty Simpson, I am so impressed within the last couple of weeks. When you take the total, I think he was 24 of 29 today, close to 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. You combine that with last week, he's completing close to 90% of his passes. And understandably, like last week, it's ULM. I get it. I understand that Wisconsin is not a great Big Ten opponent, but they are still a Big Ten Power 4 team. And pretty much Ty Simpson had his way with him. I mean, just some of the throws he was making as far as layering the throws, the throw to Isaiah Horton in the end zone, the one to Ron Williams, that was his drop. I mean, just incredible performance by Ty Simpson. And I think his ability to escape pressure is, incredible. I think as far as his pocket management and understanding where pressure is coming from, having that kind of second nature where he can kind of turn his shoulders and make guys miss, just incredible job by him. And this is hopefully, last week was definitely a confidence boosting performance. But if you're Ty Simpson, what you've done the last 2 weeks, and especially with this being against a Power 4 opponent, that has got to do wonders as far as his confidence level going into the bye week and then hopefully going to Athens to try to continue to build on that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I'm not going to – an offensive lineman that was hurt. Their quarterback was banged up. Alabama's got guys out too. Alabama's without some of their best players. That's the way football works. You still got to go out there and get it done. And Bama got contributions from, a lot of different people. And I just want to stay on the offensive side of the football. You talked about the running game and the offensive line. You talked about Ty Simpson. Let's talk wide receivers. I thought Ryan Williams, I thought they did a good job of putting him in situations where he's more comfortable. I like seeing Latsier Brooks in the slot again. And I thought up until the drop, I thought he had a pretty good day. And then Isaiah Horton, great. But Jeremy Bernard is just, he's the most important guy on this offense, man. I mean, he just gets you going every game. He had 2 touchdowns before I blinked.
And that's exactly right. When you look last week, a lot of his production, in fact, all of his production came early, and then they kind of started giving some other guys some opportunities. But he's been the tone setter, and you need that type of guy who's going to be able to make guys miss, create plays, whether it be as a runner or as a receiver, yardage after the catch. He has been steady, consistent. But when it comes to Ryan Williams, I love the rotation. I thought they had a great feel for. You would see those looks where, I think they opened the game in 12 personnel, so they only had Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard on the field. But then second play of the game, I think it was the second play, Latsier Brooks comes onto the field. They take a tight end off. Brooks is in the slot. You've got Ryan Williams at the X, and you got Isaiah Horton, Ryan Williams at the Z. Yeah, it was Ryan Williams at the X, and it was Jeremy Bernard at the Z. And then they would take out Brooks. They'd slide Ron Williams to the slot, and they bring Isaiah Horton onto the field. And plus, you were still seeing some Rico Scott. I just think that the flow of this game and the way that they managed it offensively, this is exactly what you want it to look like. And I think that when you talk about all the various playmakers that Alabama's been putting on display the last couple of weeks, a lot of different guys who can make plays, whether it be for Ty Simpson, whether it be on defense, I think you could probably say the same thing. This is what Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer's offense was supposed to look like. So give Ryan Williams a lot of credit. I understand he had a rough performance in week 1. He had a miss week 2. But, I mean, just some of the things that he can do with the football in his hands. It's always frustrating when you get the drops. But I mean, it's like I was saying, I think it was yesterday, you can live with a drop here or there when you're doing all the other things that he was doing on the field. So granted, if it happens at a critical moment in the game, you're going to remember that and you're going to be upset and things like that. But I mean, at the same time, you just saw what he is capable of. He has not gone anywhere. He's been the same guy. He was working through some things to open the season just like everybody else. But I thought the coaching staff had a much better idea of how they can move him around and create some mismatches. And he fully took advantage of them for sure.
Yeah. The one touchdown is just nobody in football can do that. Like where he catches the ball on the sideline and then just kind of steps back out of the way. Guys fall over and then he just runs in. Like it's crazy. Honestly, it looks like a video game. The way that he's able to move. Let's switch to the defensive side of the ball. And guys, as you hang out, if you got a question, get in the comments section and I'll throw those over there for Clint while he's standing outside of Bryant-Denny Stadium. Defensive side of the ball, I thought Bama did exactly what this defense needs, and that's to get the early lead, kind of make the offense a little more one-dimensional. Bray Hubbard had a huge game, not just the 2 interceptions, but I thought that he got up there and helped take the edge away a few times where you might not think about that as far as like, hey, he got 2 interceptions, but him helping take the edge away is what they didn't do against Florida State.
Yeah, I think you make a great point as far as Bray Hubbard in particular. I thought he was flying around. I thought he had a lot of energy. Yes, there was one play where they were bringing a blitz from the boundary corner, and the quarterback read it. He knew that where his hot was, got the football out, and Bray Hubbard missed a tackle. And, that's something I think has kind of been a problem for him. It's kind of like Ryan Williams with the drops, where you're going to get those missed tackles from him sometimes, but he was a much more sound tackler than he has been in previous weeks. And he made some plays like you talked about. The interceptions, obviously everybody's going to remember those, but it was him triggering downhill, being physical, playing with the energy. And I think, I don't know if people could tell how much he was really just flying around all over the place on TV, seeing kind of the whole big picture, watching it live. I mean, this guy, it felt like he was everywhere. And I don't think he had a ton of tackles, 4 or 5, I think, but just he was in and around the ball carrier or the person who had the football a ton. And that's what we were all expecting. What's crazy is that whether you're talking about Ty Simpson and how he looked, whether you're talking about Ryan Williams, how he looked, Bray Hubbard, the sacks as far as L.T. Overton and Jan Zapier and Quay Russaw, London Simmons, the true freshman, 4 sacks. Like all of this stuff is what we were expecting to see from Alabama this season. You didn't get it at pretty much at all in week 1. Got it a little bit more in week 2, but week 3, I thought that everybody looked kind of how we were expecting. Now you got to continue to keep your foot on the gas, all gas, no brakes. This is not like they're to a point where, I'm sure people will probably start singing their praises again, but I mean, they got to continue to put their head down and go to work because the job is not even remotely finished. That game against Georgia in Athens is going to be tough. But what I will say is you have to be super encouraged about this performance.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I'm totally with you. I don't know why that popped up there. Let me ask you this question. We just got this from the comment section, and I was wondering, L.T. Overton left the game with an upper body injury. Do we have an injury report? Do you know anything on that situation? Who else did you notice get hurt? Or, I mean, I know that's something that we'll be able to kind of get. It's a little easier tomorrow, but
Yeah, I don't know. I would love, obviously I'm not listening to Kalen DeBoer's press conference. I actually think that just wrapped up. So if anybody in the comments, they were watching it or have any sort of update, definitely let us know. I'll be looking into that as soon as I hop off of here. But that was concerning because while I do think that, through the first 2 weeks, he was applying pressure. He wasn't finishing. That was a problem. Just wasn't playing his best football, in my opinion. Today, he looked a lot more like the guy that we were expecting him to be. He is a very disruptive player. And him going out of the game, it's like you start to wonder, okay, Jordan Renaud, he's been playing okay, but is he going to be a guy who can handle a ton of snaps at 265 pounds playing that bandit position? Are they going to have to use more of Keon Keeley? Like what would it look like if he actually ended up having to miss some time? That's something that I'd be curious to see if that does happen. But James Smith, there for a short period, I think his head hit the field pretty hard over there by the sidelines. He was trying to make a tackle, ended up just tossing his helmet off and then crawling off of the field. Thought that could end up being kind of a problem. I think he ended up being fine. I think he was back in on the next series, so nothing to worry about there. No one else that I noticed really had any sort of injury problems. Maybe I missed somebody, but L.T. Overton's the main one. And I mean, it would be unfortunate with the way that things are trending. Like London Simmons doing some great things, thought he was fantastic as far as being more disruptive, more active. Thought he did a good job of just doing his job in the first 2 games. But as far as actually being a playmaker, way better in this game, way better as far as being a lateral mover. Really encouraged by his performance, because if you talk about what Tim Keenan's going to bring to the table, then you look at London Simmons. This could be an absolute game changer for Alabama's defense if you continue to see that London Simmons moving forward. But it would be unfortunate if you saw this from London Simmons. You start getting Tim Keenan back, and things on defense are starting to trend in the right direction. And then a very important piece as far as your pass rush and really your defense in general, like LT Overton, if he had to miss any sort of significant time. So I have no idea what the injury is, but that is definitely going to be something to monitor moving forward.
Yeah, they didn't say anything about LT Overton. I've been checking Twitter and got some help there on the comment section. So hopefully that's it. I mean, you got an extra week to heal up. I feel like we're going to have, well, we'll see. I mean, it feels like we're close to having Jam Miller back, and maybe we're close to having Tim Keenan back. That would help a lot on defense. Bama, I thought they got a pass rush today for the first time, and that was good. I mean, could it be better? Yeah, but a lot of these young players that looked overwhelmed against Florida State are kind of stepping up and helping out. What was your thoughts on the line, offensive line and defensive line?
Offensive line, once again, no push. And that's something that's concerning. I thought the pass protection, there were some obvious hiccups there. There was one time, and watching it live, I thought, okay, Caden Proctor once again got beat inside. Then somebody pointed out, which obviously I'm watching it live, so maybe I missed something. He didn't have help over on that side, and they sent 2 players. So maybe it wasn't as much of a Caden Proctor issue as I thought it was. I'll have to go back and watch. But, there was one where Richard Young just got ran over in pass protection. That happens, I guess, from time to time. It's never something you want to put on tape. But, overall, I think that it all starts without being able to create a consistent run game. And I think that Michael Carroll helped on that front some. I thought Jaden Roberts, granted, we'll have to go back and confirm, but I thought he played pretty well. I think Gino Vandermark, from a consistency standpoint, what you're going to get from him on a snap-in, snap-out basis, probably a lot more than Jaden Roberts. But Jaden Roberts, just the nastiness in which he plays with, and he's kind of a people mover. I think it might end up benefiting your offensive line if eventually you made it to where maybe Jaden Roberts was the primary right guard. Maybe you're getting Gino Vandermark some rotational snaps. But, we'll have to wait and see. I trust the coaching staff to make the right decision there. But Michael Carroll, I think over time he's going to really improve as far as the nastiness in which that unit plays with. I'm hoping that Jam Miller and just his ability, the explosiveness and the power that he brings to the table, maybe he'll be able to help get the run game going. But that is a problem. As far as the defensive line, there were some hiccups here or there, especially late. But, I thought that overall that the unit played well. And once again, just London Simmons, I mean, that guy, the staff's ability to make that evaluation, get him on campus, and then allow him to, not only start to work into the rotation even before Tim Keenan got hurt, but then also continue to be elevated to become a starter once Jeremiah Beeman went down. I just think that that is a home run evaluation by the coaching staff. And I think that when you talk about what type of role he can have in Alabama's defense moving forward, even once Tim Keenan comes back, I think that's going to be absolutely huge. The rotation, Isaiah Faga, Edric Hill, these are guys where the size is going to get you beat up a little bit, probably going to have to give up ground some as far as the run game. But I have to go back and watch. Overall, though, I mean, it's very hard to point to any one particular thing and say, hey, this is a massive problem other than Alabama's run game on offense.
There you go. We got a super chat here. Giletto sends us $10. Thanks, brother. What do you guys think about the linebacker play? Great question for Clint.
Yeah, I thought the linebacker play was good. Justin Jefferson, I wish he would have made that tackle, but he's got the sideline ability. I thought Deontay Lawson was moving better, made a lot of tackles. And I think that Alabama's top 3 tacklers today were the 3 off-ball linebackers, if I'm not mistaken, in Deontay Lawson, Justin Jefferson, and Nikai Hill-Green. Not really a whole lot I remember watching live that stood out about Nikai Hill-Green, but obviously he was around a bunch of tackles, so I'll be curious to go back and see how he performed. But Justin Jefferson and Deontay Lawson, I thought that both of them looked more comfortable. I still don't like the mugging on early downs, trying to drop them out, because there's just, there was one time where Wisconsin was able to hit a quick slant, I think it was, or it was some sort of route where the linebacker was supposed to be, and the linebacker was mugged up and he was trying to bail, just didn't have time to get back there. Would like to see some of that stuff be eliminated. At this point, I guess it's not going to, so you just learn to live with it. But overall, I thought they were flying around a little bit more. This is the second week in a row where they were flying around. And with Deontay Lawson, I think each week he gets further and further removed from that knee injury last year, and the fact that he's dropped a ton of weight. I think that's going to end up making a substantial difference for him, because he just seems to be moving better at a lighter weight. So I'm excited to see how he continues to trend.
Well, it was a good win for Alabama. They have bounced back and won the 2 home games that they played after losing to Florida State. They got a week off, and then they head to Georgia. I know we got 2 weeks to kind of build this matchup, but your thoughts of these 2 games and kind of just the overall direction of things since they came back from Tallahassee.
Kalen DeBoer's energy, that has been fantastic the last couple of weeks. E.g., she was on the sideline. She did tweet out that, or she sent me a text first, but saying that he has been super animated and getting after guys. And even when things are going well, like, he's keeping his foot down, setting a standard for everybody else to live up to. That's super encouraging to see. You see the energy there for guys. They're pulling for each other. They're getting hyped after big plays. And, this was an 11 a.m. kickoff, and it's hot out here. And just the fact that you saw these guys continue to go to work didn't seem like it fazed them. They played through some adversity, going for it early on 4th down, not getting it and giving, Wisconsin the football in, Alabama territory. Like, that to me was like, in the past, in some of these other games, especially against these types of teams, it's like oh no, here we go again. Things are not going our way. And they would kind of fold a little bit to adversity. They bowed up immediately. They didn't allow Wisconsin to do anything with that. Then they go down their field and start scoring and racking up points. And then here you go. It looks like how it was supposed to look and how we had hoped that it would look. And just compare that to, some of these other games they've played in. Nick, that's super encouraging, brother.
Yeah, I love it too, man. Here's our guy, Brandon from D.C. He's an All-American caller. But this time he's a super chatter. All-American super chat, man. Thank you for the $10, brother. I appreciate it. You're one of the best callers we got. Clint, it looks like Ryan Williams isn't bad at football. Great calling out on reminding folks.
Yeah, and I get that it's frustrating because, a lot of people that were hyping him up all throughout the offseason. And yes, there were reasons why he struggled down the stretch. Like, his own play dropped off. Thought the chemistry with him and Jalen Milroe over the course of last season, just it deteriorated, it seemed like. But, this guy, you still see the ability. You still look at the fact that he was 17 years old last year. This year, he's supposed to be a true freshman. Would you expect him to be a completed product? If you do, I think that's unfair expectations. But at the same time, he's always had this ability. And I felt like that based off of what we all expected from him coming into the season, everybody looked rough against Florida State. Like, you look at Ty Simpson, I thought he had some good moments against Florida State, and I thought given the circumstances, he actually played decently well. But, a lot of people criticized the play against, Florida State, and then you turn around the last 2 weeks, he has looked phenomenal. So just give these guys a chance to kind of get things going, and I still think a lot of these pieces that we talked about in the offseason, they can end up being exactly what we had hoped or expected. Yeah. You just got to continue to give them opportunities. And as they continue to get confidence, I think they'll continue to roll. So I completely agree. Ryan Williams is every bit the player that we thought he would be coming in.
Yeah, I don't think he took a step back. He just got to catch the ball a little more consistently. But I think they did a good job of putting him in a spot, too. I like him on the outside. Sometimes on those inside plays, he just looks like his kind of gets a little bit, those arms get a little bit like Kool-Aid on those punt returns a few years ago. But we'll see. Maybe he's got to learn how to do that to be, a first-round draft pick and a star in the NFL. I hear the police out there. What was the atmosphere like today at the game?
It's funny because going in early, I was in the press box and they started trying to get some chants going on the field. And you can't really even hear it a whole lot from the press box anyways. But there was a Wisconsin media member, I have no idea who it was. But when they were trying to do some of those chants, I heard him say, man, this crowd sucks. And I thought about tweeting it, but I'm like, you know what? It was not as bad as he was portraying. But at the same time, I was like, it's 11 a.m. Bama fans they don't have big noon kickoff around here. So they ain't used to playing any sort of meaningful or massive games early. And so, but then I thought the crowd started to get into it. It's funny how the further you get into the day and people start waking up and getting that blood flowing, the energy starts to pick up. So I thought that the crowd was good. It was solid. Alabama was a 3-touchdown favorite, and it was an 11 a.m. kickoff. So is it going to be the same thing as if you got LSU coming in here at night? No, but I thought it was a good crowd and a good energy, and I thought that the players fed off of that, and I thought that the team gave the fans a lot to cheer for on both sides of the football. So that was certainly encouraging to see as well.
Yeah, good. 11 o'clock. Those are normally reserved for Auburn games, which I guess who played at 11 today against South Alabama? Yeah, Auburn. That was 11:45. Yeah, we don't play a lot of games at 11. That's not prime time. Bama's a prime time performer, but I get it in the Big 12, noon Eastern time, 11 Central is, prime time, right? So last thing for you, Clint, is the running attack wasn't much of a running attack when you look at the team stats. Bama again struggled. They didn't get over 100 yards running again, only 72, but they had 454 yards. Should we be worried about the lack of a run?
Yeah, I think it's safe to be concerned. At this point, you haven't had your starting running back, and that could end up making a pretty significant difference. But for whatever reason, they can't get anything going. And when you look at the bodies, man, Jaden Roberts, Mauler, Cam Dewberry, Mauler, Caden Proctor, Michael Carroll, maybe not Wilkin Formby, obviously not Parker Brailsford. I think he's a scrappy guy. He's a lot more powerful than you would think that he is for his size. And he's a better run blocker than you would think that he would be. But overall, I just don't feel like that for whatever reason, as a unit, this team is doing enough to get guys blocked. And some of that's tight end blocking as well. Jay Lindsey, he had some moments. He's mostly getting his usage down there on the goal line as a blocking tight end. But, I'm sure that's playing a part in it. I'm sure when I go back and watch the film, I'll say some of those, issues were tight end related. But overall, you're just not seeing any sort of consistent run game. And they've got to get that fixed. I understand. As I said earlier, it's miraculous that they were able to do what they were the last 2 weeks through the year, considering they don't have a complimentary run game. But at some point, there's going to be a team talented enough to kind of take your passing game out of it and make you run the football. Yeah, it could certainly be the case. Yeah. And so you've got to be able to move the football, and you're not seeing that with any sort of consistency right now.
All right, we got another super chat. They don't want you to leave yet, Clint. Hey. So I guess as long as you guys keep throwing super chats, we'll keep Clint here. OC Jim, $5, man. Thank you, OC Jim. I'm OG Mick, so I get it. I like the way DeBoer tore into Rico Scott for causing the penalty after A.K. Deere made the first down, Saban style. I saw that too. I saw a different Kalen DeBoer the last few weeks, right? There's an intensity, and I don't think it's eyewash. I think he's kind of senses the urgency of what's going on after that Florida State game, figuring out that you got to coach different down here than you coach up there. And, and I like that. Tennessee, by the way, is leading Georgia 7-zip, and Clemson upset by Georgia Tech today. 24-21, Clint.
Hey, the 2025 national champion Clemson Tigers with getting upset, huh? I understand why a lot of people were high on Clemson from a NFL talent standpoint. That's a good place to start, and they got some guys up front defensively. They got some receivers. They had a veteran quarterback who a lot of people think highly of. I understand it, but their offensive line, now I didn't watch that game, so I have no idea where the struggles came from, but just their offensive line to me, that as much as Bama fans like to complain about Alabama, Clemson's been dealing with that for a while. And so, it's tough to win football games. I mean, it really is. And, when you look at Clemson, I mean, maybe Georgia Tech is a bigger problem than we think as far as the ACC is concerned, but you have to feel pretty good about Florida State in that conference if, Clemson's gettable. So, while Alabama did get embarrassed in week one, they've certainly improved the last couple of weeks, and maybe Florida State will be given an opportunity to make that loss look just a little bit better over the course of this season.
Yeah, I think Brett Key came to one of the tailgate shows when he was like at Alabama.
I'm a fan.
He's going to be he's coming, man. I mean, he's turning Georgia Tech into it. They remember the game they lost to Georgia last year. They just upset Clemson. They beat Miami miraculously last year. This is a solid program, and well, maybe I shouldn't say that, but they are a dangerous program. How about that?
I would agree with that. Yeah, I think and Brent Key, he's got that. I think he does a good job of managing his emotions, but also having this intensity about him in the right moments. And I think he did wonderful things at Alabama. I think he was a good offensive mind, and I think he's the type of guy that can lead a football team. So I don't think it's coincidence. Georgia Tech's, I mean, it's a recruiting hotbed. Obviously, you're dealing with Kirby Smart in Georgia. That's never easy, but he has built them into a pretty respectable program. And when you're able to consistently do stuff like this, you got to start giving those guys credit.
Yep. Well, Clint, any final thoughts?
Just, appreciate everybody being on here. Obviously, I know it's early in the day, so a lot of people are wanting to continue to watch football. But just Alabama continues to move in the right direction. And while I'm going to praise, because praise is earned, especially after the last 2 weeks, I also want to continue to hammer, you've got to keep this intensity. You can't, if we're praising the team or whatever, that means nothing. As far as moving forward, what you've done in the past means nothing. But based off of where this season was trending after week one, I think as, Alabama fans, everybody's got to take a step back and give respect where it has been earned as far as kind of righting the ship. Doesn't mean it's finished. Maybe people want to wait until after Georgia, and at least if they're competitive on that front, people will, be willing to, give Kalen DeBoer and company a little bit more praise or credit. But certainly been impressed with what they've been able to put on the field as far as the product the last couple of weeks.
All right, Clint. Well, thank you, man. Roll Tide. Have a great day. And you got to get home so you can watch some of this college football. Some pretty good games, Tennessee and Georgia. Maybe this is the day that Tennessee's offense overwhelms Georgia. Do we want that? Do we need that going into the game against those guys?
Oh, that's a good question. But does Tennessee pull it off, Mick? I'm holding you to this. So do they pull it off, or does Georgia come back?
I thought Georgia was going to beat them, but Georgia hadn't given up a touchdown to Tennessee in a long time. And then I just watched Tennessee guys rip right down the field on Georgia. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't have a good feel on this game.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to watch for sure. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Roll Tide, my friend. Thank you. That's Clint Lamb on campus at the University of Alabama. And they're covering this thing for us. All right, let's go back to the phone lines and talk to you guys about the game. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, Mick, Clint, this is Brandon from D.C., man. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, Brandon? Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for calling in, man. Give us your thoughts.
Of course, man. I got a call. Just had to put the kids away for a little bit. Overall, man, I thought the game plan was great. I thought Ty Simpson, man, his confidence since last week is just astronomical, right? As you can see, his confidence, his moxie, his ability to see the field. This is what we were expecting to see game one. But just going back and looking at the film, the one thing I am concerned about is just the O-line push, man. And, again, great win by the team. Our receivers stepped up tremendously. I just got to see more push. I don't know if it's schematics, because it's not like we don't have, big guys that can move people out the way. But, there's a lot of stunts and things that the teams that are throwing at us. And when we're slanting down and we're trying to pick up the blitzes and do all this different stuff, it almost feels like the O-line kind of gets stuck overthinking, right? And so I'm hoping that we see an evolving, again, I'm going to say even evolving, I'm going to say revolving door of maybe trying Carroll at right tackle.
Right.
Again, I think that we got to be able to get Roberts in there to make sure that we have a big nasty up front. I really do feel like over the course of these next 2 weeks, while we have that, time off, they're going to really try to switch it up and see what they can get out of that offensive line.
Yeah.
It's not that it was terrible, but it's just too many guys are running free. And you just saw Ty Simpson, he's a playmaker. That one play where he spun out and ran for, 10 yards to pick up the first down, that's the type of things he had to do against Florida State. And so you're seeing a persistent problem. And I just got to see more from the offensive line of consistency. Proctor just keeps getting beat inside. And so if you know that's the challenge he's having, I think that in order for him to gain back his confidence, they should be getting the running back to chip off the side, maybe put him out on a shallow, and then as he's going out, just chip the end, right?
Right.
Or, maybe just say, tell Proctor really set heavy inside and maybe have a tight end on the outside like Quavins that can really just establish his confidence and letting him know that when he's getting his pass pro or where he's driving forward, he doesn't necessarily have to worry about getting beat with a double move inside. So that's the one I want to see growth there. Man, Ryan Williams is just different, right? He plays in a different gear. He has so much body control. He's got to get the drops under control, right? And that's just something you got to take the good with the bad. Shep, that's somebody that he makes those guys practice without gloves, right? So every time you see the videos and you see them without gloves, it's because he's making them focus on catching the ball with their hands. He dropped that wide open touchdown, right? And it's just a lack of just concentration. He has great hands, right? He catches the ball phenomenally, and he always can catch it. Typically, he can catch it in traffic, but I just think he's adjusting to playing in the slot. And him being open and doing all these different things, it just seems like he's still trying to get his confidence in that area. So you saw the big playmaking he had was on the outside, right? So even though he was in the slot, they had him on a wheel route. They had him essentially starting in the slot but finishing on the outside. So that's what you got to do with Ryan Williams. He's comfortable out there. If you're going to be starting Horp, if you're going to be starting whoever on the outside, you make sure that either they're running hitches and you're letting Ryan Williams kind of run seams and kind of drift off to where he can still make some plays on the outside, or you just move him around so he can feel more confident knowing that the linebackers and everyone else don't have a beat on him. So that all the things I saw for the offense, but that was the biggest thing, man. We got to get the run game established, and I think that just comes with just the big guys up front making moves. Now, the defense, I got to look, Bray Hubbard, I am convinced, Mick, I think he was sick that first game, right? Like, this is the past two games, this is the type of, energy and the type of hitting that we're used to from him. And I just think something was off with him, right? And he's not someone that's going to make any excuses or, I was feeling ill. Like, our right tackle was sick. Right. So this is not even making excuses. It's just Bray Hubbard is always one that gives you 110%. And so to see him not do that, and then today he's just coming down like a heat-seeking missile, knocking dudes out, setting back in, picking the ball off twice. Like, this is what we expect from him. So I'm going to be more just observing to see if that may have just been an anomaly with him, and maybe he was just feeling off. All the guys just seemed off. Or it could just be a change in the coaches just amping it up a little bit, right? He might be a guy that feeds off coaches. He might need somebody to be on him a little bit. He might need the energy from the coaching staff. So it was good to see that there's a different energy from the coaches on the sideline, because oftentimes they got that Cali cool, just being laid back. Oh, it's all good. You drop the ball. It's fine. No, it's not. Right. And Shep can't be the only person that's being that, that hammer. They've got to be able to create an urgency amongst the players. They got to create an urgency amongst all of the staff to make sure people are staying on top of it, because when we get into these games against a Georgia, Tennessee, the only difference can be in a play or two. And if you have a guy that's just not mentally locked in, or the sideline is kind of disjointed and no one is just keyed in on it, it's going to be a problem throughout the year. So to see Kalen DeBoer get in on Rico is a great player, man. He's young, but him digging in on him wasn't necessarily at Rico. It was to just send a message to the team that, hey, even if we're up, the standard's still the standard. Like, you got to be locked in.
Yeah.
So I think Caleb DeBoer sees that. I think he went back to the drawing board, because great coaches do that, and saying, like, what can I do to be better? How can I make sure I'm getting the most out of my players? And I see that he's just I even saw him cuss on the sideline, right?
Yeah, right.
He's a Bible-thumping guy, man. He was cussing. And he was pissed off, right? And so when you see that from your coach, you're like, hey, you know what? We've got this. And then you get Tim Keenan back. That is going to add an edge to the team, where you're going to see the young freshmen, they're going to see their game increase, because now you have a guy that's a dog, right? He's a dog. He's going to be stout against the run. And I don't think you're going to see as much push that you've been seeing these past couple of games with, the option and the reverses and all that stuff. Everyone's going to be trying that. And so we're building up for not just these next few weeks, but when we play Vandy, we already know what we're getting. That's the type of offense we're going to be seeing. Everyone sees it. They're going to be trying these reverses, trying to shift us, have our eyes not being eye discipline, our linebackers coming up and bugging and not necessarily getting back and dropping. But hey, Mick, one thing that they've got to improve on, man, this is on Kane. He has to get the play calls in faster.
Yeah.
It's way too much guys just looking to the sideline, and all of a sudden the offense is playing, get speeding to the ball, and we're just looking to the sideline and we're getting caught. And it happens over and over and over. And I'm just like, I think last year Malachi was saying we're not getting the calls fast enough, right? And so I don't know what he needs to do. Maybe he needs to send in 2 plays to where, one play is the initial defense, but then you got to trust your linebackers to get you in the plays. You might need to afford them more opportunity to start calling plays so you're not getting stuck. So that's the only type of, I think, adjustments they're going to have to make over this whole course of this bye week is just getting plays in and trusting that the players, one, know what they're doing, but 2, you have the field leaders like a Lawson that can make play calls.
Right.
Bray Hubbard may be able to do it. Keon Sabb might be able to do it. Like, you got to give them opportunities to make sure that they're not just looking to the sideline because Florida State exposed it, right? They were over there faking it. They did a fake clap, look to the sideline, and then all of our players are not locked in. So that's an adjustment the coaches can make. Maybe they have the guys just, hey, if you're on the D-line, you stay in your 4-point stance. Hey, you don't look. You don't look to the sideline. Just stay down. The linebackers will give you the calls. They might just have to make some adjustments there because when we play Georgia's looking a little bad right now, man. They're getting some score right there. That's crazy. But whenever you get in with a Georgia or Tennessee and these teams that are going to really get on and just try to spread you out and do different things to make sure that you're not necessarily set, they've got to get ready for that. So, hey, great win by the teams, man. Jerm Bernard is still receiver number 1. That guy is just so consistent. I love the way he plays with passion.
Yeah.
And look, we're going to have the bye week, and then we'll be having Georgia hate week, and I'm excited, man. But in the meantime, now I got to root for Georgia because I hate Tennessee. So, hey, roll tide, Mick. I love y'all, man. Enjoy the time. Enjoy the long break. I hate Tennessee so bad, Mick.
Yeah, me
Mick,
too.
every time I watch them, man, I get pissed off. You saw them doing the FSU war chant.
Oh, I know. I talked about that.
Why are you thinking about us? You're playing Georgia.
I know. I saw
Yeah,
that.
man. It's really like, come on. What
And
are
they
you
were
doing?
yelling,
Focus.
Bama sucks.
They just hate it, man.
And then they were chanting that every time
Come
I'm
on,
there,
man.
they chant, F you, Bama, in there. Like, come on, man. We're in their heads so bad. I mean, we did beat them 16 straight.
Man. Still, 100%. And look, I got to give the guy credit, man. The greatest troll was that guy that called when we were over at Neyland Stadium 2 years ago. And he just kept going on and on and on. And then he just hit us at the random point in time, man. I remember that caller, bro. Like, he got us. We deserved that, even though the game was stolen a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But they were waiting for that, man. I was like, the patience, right?
Oh, man.
Like,
Yeah, I
come on,
remember
man.
that.
So the hate is real. Yeah, the hate is real, Mick. But hey, man, the love is real with you. Y'all do amazing work. I dial in every week to hear y'all, man. I love the coverage. You and Mick, you're just a legend within itself, man. And Big Elmo will be proud, shining down on you, man. You can tell that your energy is great. And I'm just proud of you, brother. So just keep striving, keep doing great things. And look, our team's going to get better in the meantime, bro. But hey, roll tide. I'll talk to y'all later.
Hey, thank you, man. Great call, as always. As always, from Brandon. That's how you become a Hall of Fame caller. I mean, that's kind of like next level, when you go next level on the call thing, right? I mean, we do the calls every week. And this is a shorter show. I mean, because we got all these games, 11 o'clock game, always like that. Tennessee goes right down the field and scores again. So it's 14-7 in that one. Do you guys think that it's better for Tennessee to win or Georgia to win? I know Chris Lowe told me on the tailgate show that he thinks that it would be better for Tennessee to win because Georgia will be mad for 2 weeks. And I agree. They'll be focused. I think they're going to be focused anyway. But that's hard to say. I'm pulling for Georgia today. I mean, just because I guess I'm superstitious like that too. I mean, maybe it's not even superstition. It's just like kind of a fact, But the thing about it is like football's different now where you can lose some games, because they got all these playoff spots. Georgia went straight down the field. Tennessee went straight down the field. This one feels like that game that the officials stole from us. It just feels like that. I had somebody else tell me that the other day. They were just like, It was Cruz Oxenrider. He's like, I just feel like this is kind of like that energy, like where it's like they haven't beaten Georgia in a while, and they have they lucked up Tennessee so bad by dumping that Nico. They lucked up. This quarterback's better, and he's a team guy. And that's the problem that Nico had. He just wasn't a team guy. He was out there for the money. And that's one thing I will tell you that I'm glad Tennessee did, because you don't want this to turn into where one player, ruins the whole team over the money thing, But I'm pulling for Georgia. We'll see. How many of you guys are going to Athens? Good question. I was there for the blackout. I was there when Coker played, and I haven't been back there since, but I love Athens. I think it's a good town. Again, final run through the stats. Let me put these up on the screen, and we'll kind of look at them together. One last time. See if you guys can see them. There you go. Thank you, ESPN. Pulling them right off of ESPN. We'll kind of look at them together. So final score, 38-14. Bama got 7 in the first quarter, 14 in the second, 14 in the third, and then 3 in the fourth. They brought in the backup quarterbacks, let them play. I thought that was a good thing. Ty Simpson probably could have gotten more, but that's something that's different than when Nick Saban was coaching, and I don't know if we would have seen a backup quarterback in this game. We need to develop these other guys, and we did that, right? Ty Simpson was excellent. 382 yards, 24-29. 2 of those at least were drops. He missed, a couple passes, but that's it. And he had 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. O'Neal of Wisconsin had a touchdown and 2 interceptions, just to give you an idea of the difference between the two. Bama was 2 of 8 on third down, though. That you want to improve in that area. They were 1 of 2 on fourth. That one was a touchdown. 454 yards total to 209. I think we're happy about that. Passing wise, 382 to 117. Happy about that. The run game, certainly concerning. 72 yards for Bama and 92 for Wisconsin. I think a lot of you guys got into that as well. Another game where Bama had more penalties than their opponents. They had 7 for 57. Wisconsin had 6 for 65. But I'll tell you, one category that you got to love is turnovers. 2-0 Bama with the advantage there. And when you win the turnover battle, a lot of times you're going to win the game. I think that's kind of one of those areas where you always feel like if you win the turnover battle, you're going to be in great position to get the win. So look, make sure that you guys got us locked in. Cover Crimson all week long. We're going to be covering Alabama through the off week. So make sure that you guys have subscribed to the channel and like the video. Thank you guys for all of the super chats and all the comments and all the calls today. A little shorter just because it's a day game. Everybody's watching this Georgia-Tennessee game. I think we got the outcome that we kind of expected to get. Final score in the area of what we thought, 38-14. One of those was a touchdown on a kickoff return. So defense gave up 7 points today. And the offense, I thought, for the most part, was dominating and going down the field and getting things done. So anyway, thank you guys. Well, I want to remind you of a couple things, too, before we get off here. First off, that we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort over there in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Great time to play Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, the Azaleas, the Oaks, 2 amazing golf courses right there as part of Dancing Rabbit. It's the Augusta that you can play. They also have the Timeout Sports Lounge, which is a Vegas-style sports book that is just right there in Philadelphia, Mississippi. So an hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham. Easy to get there. And once you get there, you're going to have everything you need. Full-size bar, 20 big screen TVs. Can you imagine being there right now? All the games behind you on all the TVs. I've been there before for a Saturday. It's awesome. And then you can go up and put up, put some wagers down. I'm not saying put your house down. I'm saying, hey, man, some pizza money, have a good time, and then all the table games and slots that go with it. Let's watch Coker, and thank you guys for being here. I'm Mick Gillispie.
I may not suit up on Saturdays anymore, but I'm still in the game.
Let's roll.
In here, I call the plays, make adjustments, and lay it on the line. Want to feel that fire? That rush, then you've got to get in the game. I used to say it in the tunnel, and I still say it now. Let's roll.